As a result of recent events in Canada, the Conservative Party has come out in favor of castle laws. That's the idea that the government won't impede you from defending yourself in your own home if there's an intruder. Now, the response to this from the Justice Minister is, this isn't the Wild West, it's Canada. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We have had some serious things go down in the country. We've seen the revolving door for violent criminals as they commit more and more crimes. The same criminals, maybe in one city, it'd be about 40 criminals committing thousands of crimes, just getting let right back out to do it again. And people are concerned in their own homes, and with recent things that have hit the news in Lindsay, and we're going to talk about some other things that have come up recently where people have been attacked in their own homes and then prosecuted by, well, first charges laid by the police and then prosecutions going after them for just having the audacity to defend themselves in their home. This has come to light, and Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party, has come out to say enough is enough. Let's fix this situation. Let's talk about castle laws, and let's talk about how complicated the legal system is, and let's clarify some things so people can feel comfortable in the idea that they can defend themselves in their own home.
Conservatives are standing here today based on the principle that your home is your castle. We're calling on the government to introduce and immediately pass the Stand on Guard law, failing which one of our party's MPs will put forward such a bill. It will amend Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code, which right now says that you can defend yourself based on 9 very complicated and vague conditions. Now look, if you're defending your house, you don't have time to think through 9 different conditions. You have one condition: to protect yourself and your kids. And it is wrong for the law, for the police, and for judges to apply a complicated, indecipherable legal doctrine against you when you were only doing what is right. Our amendment instead will change Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code to say that the use of force, including lethal force, is presumed reasonable against an individual who unlawfully enters a house and poses a threat to the safety of anyone inside. The proposed amendment is reasonable and prudent. It applies only to the unlawful entry of a home and preserves proportionality. Simply put, it means you have the right to use force to defend your home and your family against someone who threatens you and who has entered illegally.
Now, this should be pretty straightforward. I'm sure there's a lot of Americans watching this right now saying, wait a second, you don't actually have a right to defend yourself? Well, here's the thing. Under the law, you do have a right to defend yourself. You do. You actually absolutely do have a right to defend yourself, and we do have castle law in a way where it's a sense that you don't have to flee your own home. It's not a presumption that you would have to flee your own home. You can not under the stand your own ground terminology that some states use, but the fact that it's your castle, you don't have to run. But what happens in a lot of these cases is because they have this idea of reasonable defense or reasonable force against an intruder, it turns open this real gray area of, well, legally, are you able to use that much force, this much force? And then it's up to the police officers whether they interpret that to lay charges on you. And then it's up to the prosecution, the Crown prosecution, whether they're going to lay charges on you and pursue those or drop them at all. But of course, this is such a very reasonable thing for Pierre Poilievre to say, but the Minister of Justice, which, why don't we get into this? Who is this guy? Sean Fraser, even his Wikipedia page giving a list of all of his accomplishments since he's joined Parliament, when he joined back in the 42nd Parliament of Canada back in 2018. For a year, he was given the job of Minister of Environment and Climate Change. Wow, well, that didn't last very long. He went on, probably failed at that, moving up to Minister of the Middle Class Prosperity. Wow, what a great job he's done for us in that job. So he failed that, and as they always do, they fail upwards. Here he is being moved over to Minister of Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship. Yeah, that's right. There's a whole list of stuff that he did while he was there. I'll leave a link in the description. You can go read through this. What an amazing piece of work this guy is. And then he got transferred over because he did such a great job over to the Minister of Housing. That's right. Within the same session and sitting in Parliament, they did a little shuffle around because he did such a bang up job at immigration. They put him in charge of housing. What a great job he did there as well. Oh, goodness. And fast forward all the way to now. He is now the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada. Wow. So the guy who's in charge of prosecuting people and doing all that stuff, Minister of Justice, is saying this to what Pierre Poilievre had to say. So he took the one small clip and he said, and this was the clip.
The use of force, including lethal force, is presumed reasonable.
It is presumed reasonable. And he adds to this, Canada already has the right to defend oneself under a law Harper brought in with Pierre Poilievre's support. Oh, wow. So it only took Harper to do that. Now he's chasing a photo op by attacking police for doing their jobs. I trust police to lay charges and judges to consider evidence over Pierre's playing cops and robbers. Of course, well, that didn't happen in Ontario and Lindsay recently. The man was charged for defending himself in his own home. Even your good friend Doug Ford, Sean, doesn't agree with you. Your good, very good friend, your dinner buddy, your comrade, your compadre, Doug Ford. Yeah, of course, not no relation to the federal conservatives, apparently. Those Ontario conservatives. Sean Fraser also adding to this. This isn't the Wild West. It's Canada. Canadians deserve real solutions that make us safer, not slogans that inspire fear and chaos for Pierre's political survival. Okay, well, that's what he takes from Pierre saying that we need, and this is only because people have been coming out in droves saying we need castle law, we need castle doctrine in Canada for ourselves to be able to defend ourselves and not worry about the police and federal prosecutors or provincial prosecutors coming after us for simply defending ourselves. Eva Chipiuk adding to this conversation saying, says the Marshal of the Wild West, Sean Fraser, Canada's top lawyer, can't even recognize his own hypocrisy when he insists that Canada's not the Wild West. Literally, you and your party have turned this once beautiful and prosperous country into a lawless, broken, and identity-lost frontier ruled by fear. Maybe it's time to bring the Wild West back. At least in that chaos, it would make sense. And best of all, we don't have to listen to our ideologically and arrogant shaming as if you are somehow better than the people you're supposed to serve. These guys forget that they're servants. They believe themselves to be rulers. That's right. Look in the mirror, Sean, and take responsibility for the fear, harm, and disservice you and your party have inflicted on Canadians before you go on lecturing others. Of course, other people pointing out, except some people really do think it's the Wild West. Some of the newcomers, some of the people, I could get into that in a whole other video, what happened there. Ian Runkle of the Bailey, fellow YouTuber and lawyer, firearms specialist lawyer in Canada, says when somebody invades your home with a weapon, they've made it the Wild West. Ordinary Canadians just want to survive and not get charged for defending themselves. Unfortunately, the government has picked a side, violent criminals, because those are the ones that get a quick charge and then thrown right back out onto the street. Of course, that's what's going on there. Now, anti-taxer on X saying, Sean Fraser is technically right. It's not the Wild West. During the Wild West, criminals were dealt swift and permanent justice. A lot of Canadians would like to see something along those lines as well. Not just the ability to defend themselves, but they would like to see the perpetrators see real justice in the country. Now, immediately after this bozo eruption, I guess as Marty calls it, on Twitter, this is something that actually happened on this in a friendly neighborhood near you in Canada. Watch 3 armed men broke into a Vaughan home Sunday morning and ended the life of a homeowner in front of his family. Sources close to the family said it was completely random. This incident comes only days after Pierre Poilievre called for strengthened castle laws in Canada.
A quiet neighborhood in Vaughan has been left shaken tonight after an alleged home invasion took a turn for the worst, leaving one man dead. Our Nick Westall joins us from the scene. And Nick, you've been there all day. What's the latest on the investigation?
Yeah, Brandon, as the concerning nature of this investigation becomes more apparent, there is still an active police presence in this Kleinberg neighborhood as officers say the search is on for multiple suspects after a 46-year-old man has died.
It was a shock. How are we going to be prepared for a thing like this?
Benjamin Cabral is a longtime resident in this suburban neighborhood, and he reflects on his time here.
It was so quiet. It was really nice neighbors. We talked to everybody. Everybody says hi. And it happens that at your door, it's not a joke. How many couples pass with 2-3 kids? It's lovely.
News of a homicide a block away is not sitting well. Many people were afraid to speak on camera. It was at around 1 a.m. when York Regional Police officers say they were called to a home on Andrietta Drive.
I saw some lights flashing by from my window from upstairs, and I looked outside. There was a bunch of police patrol cars just driving around.
The neighborhood resident says he was startled by a police helicopter.
And almost like a movie kind of a scene where you're like, why is there a helicopter in the sky shining a light? It was kind of surreal because I wouldn't expect it from this neighborhood.
Officers described the incident as a home invasion. They say the victim, identified as Abdul Alim Farouki, was found with traumatic injuries and died at the scene. It's not clear how he died. Officers say they're looking for at least 3 suspects, last seen wearing dark clothes and face coverings.
All the neighborhoods walk by here, but we never see something like this happen in this area.
Throughout Sunday afternoon, we saw several cruisers parked in front of the home with officers coming and going. Forensics officers could be seen taking photos of the scene and gathering evidence right in front of toys and sports equipment.
Okay, so pretty clear what actually did happen. It's not clear what happened. If you need more clarification, a friend of the family made things a little bit more clear here. Dear residents of Vaughan, this shooting where a father of 3 kids lost his life was a family friend of mine. This was a robbery, which went wrong. The robbers put a gun to the guy's daughter's head and demanded all the valuables. And then the family had to watch the robbers kill their father. How much longer are we going to how much longer are we going to let these criminals terrorize our communities? When will the government bring reform to the system which encourages criminals to commit these acts because they know the system is so weak? Even if they get caught, they'll just get a simple catch and release. And this isn't the only place where this is happening. This happened since Sean Fraser claimed this isn't the Wild West. Yeah, that's right. Homicide investigation underway in a person found dead in Vaughan home. Over 80 rounds fired in downtown Hamilton shooting, injuring 3 people. Police seek help as they investigate shooting near Lansdowne Park. Man found dead after shooting at police in 3-hour standoff, identified as accused local gangster. Where is the justice? It is not happening in this country. This is how much crime has risen in Canada in the past 10 years. Homicides up 33%, auto theft 39%, theft over $5,000, 49%, identity theft 121%, firearm crimes 136%. And I want to say that a lot of this isn't law-abiding firearms owners, because a lot of the firearms that they've been told they are no longer legally holding, they haven't been coming after those firearms, so it wouldn't be reported crimes there as of yet anyway, because they're not really going after them. Child bad abuse, I can't say that properly on this channel, 141%. Human trafficking is up 210%. Extortion up by 429, and CP, that's right, that is up 565%. Welcome to Canada, folks. Welcome to Canada. And of course, Pierre Poilievre doubling down after all this was said and done, saying, no, you need to have a right to defend yourself in your own home.
The law needs to be clear that if someone comes into your house uninvited to steal your property or harm your family, you need to be able to do whatever is necessary to stop them. And my message to The criminal thugs who are invading the homes of Canadians in unprecedented numbers because of Liberal laws, is that you should be in serious danger if you go into someone's house illegally and try to harm them. If you don't want to be harmed, then don't invade someone's house and don't threaten their security. The law needs to be very clear that people have the right to defend their homes and their families against lawbreakers.
The message needs to be loud and clear. People need to understand that if you enter somebody's home, obviously you can't be invited into their home and then something bad happened to you. But if you break into somebody's home, expect there to be the potential of bodily injury or even death. Like, this is something people really need to get into their heads. And as more people are seeing what's in the news, more people are arming themselves, despite what the government is telling them, despite what they see in the news, they're arming themselves. And people should realize, home invaders, this is a warning to all of you out there. People are figuring it out. People are arming themselves, and people are looking to protect themselves. I love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.